think we're back. Sorry about that. I'm not sure. Not sure what happened. Everything was going fine, and I'm not sure if that was a YouTube hiccup, but got it back now. As we are finishing up the 10th frame of game one, so didn't miss too much. But Russ Edwards with a nice 245 finish, as he made the finals yesterday. David Pritz with a 184 and Dale Davis with a 201. Robert Hillman can punch out for 215, so good start for Russ and Robert. Sorry about that. Had to repost the link for the qualifying since YouTube went to a different channel. But as you'll see, after all the games are done, like after everyone has shifted over after game one, at the bottom of the screen you'll see a running total of the games, which is pretty neat. And we'll get the totals after game one. Trying to find some other games. Doug Code shoots 246. He'll be coming up on the next pair. Richard Croker goes 235. And to the right, Mark Paxson shoots 237. Ryan Moats 225. 244 by Bob Foster. Don Braden, past champion, goes 257. And I'm trying to see some of the other scores to the right. David Kuchera with a better start he had yesterday with 235. And David Moorhead goes 228. So scores look like they're a little bit better, a little bit bigger. wait and see after everyone's done and computers shifted over with the next set. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and the alert bell every time we have a broadcast or a little slight hiccup like we just did and starts a new thread, so to speak. You'll get an alert on that. All you have to do is just click on it. I want to say huge thanks to all the sponsors for the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour. Of course, Osage Beach Lanes, or Bullmore Lanes in Osage Beach, Missouri, as they have added prize fund in each tournament, so a huge thanks to them. McCarthy Auto Group, the title sponsor for the broadcast itself. Carl Kramer and the gang, always supporting on things, and a huge thanks to Carl, longtime friend, and helps out when we need it. Also, Jason Christ with Face Designs for the shirt designs and the banners that you'll see during the championship match. Lisa Finley with Shelter Insurance, Joe Finley with Finley Transportation, and of course Storm, Rotogrip, and 900 Global. And we're waiting for the scores to, takes a little bit for the scores to switch over. Should be going here in a second. Looks like we're waiting for one lane to get done. One lane to get done and this one to load up. And should be ready to go. There we go. Loading up, and there you are. Yep, so you just see it shifted right there, now on the bottom right there. Kevin Mason with a 267 is going to lead the field. Don Braden in second at 257. David Moorhead, 248. Steve Points, lefty, at Omaha at 247. Dakota with 246. Russ Edwards, 245. And seventh, Bob Foster at 244. Julius Mickle at 244, also 237 for Mark Paxson. And your top 10, Jesse Campbell, yesterday's champion, at 237. So you'll see the running total at the bottom there, which is always kind of nice. We'll have to do a little cropping to accommodate the bottom now. So kind of a cool feature with what Brian Manini has brought to Revolution's lanes. Nice pickup by Mike Vanderbrugge. Even down to 35th, 36th, still averaging in the plus. So, not too harsh to say that scores are probably going to be higher. Would be kind of interesting to see if they had a stat, if you had to deal on, the leaves of pins. That would be something that would be interesting to see.
You want apple or cherry? You want one of each? Okay, I got you. I know how you are.
I'm still trying to give you donuts. Grab one. That's the Snickers.
I'll grab one simply because we'll wait for the chassis at 20.
Top one there next to the maple, that's Snickers, and the other one has pineapple in it. That pineapple's supposed to be pretty good. That's pineapple with like some whipped cream in it and stuff. Top one is a Snickers, and then maple bacon. Hey, you got to have your yellow food. Brought some donuts over for everyone, and then plus Dan brought over some Danishes. And we got a pin out on the channel. The other thing with this program, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on the screen or not. The typing on it, or the font's on it, kind of small and it's kind of light. It'll tell you what, like your total scores are, along with what you'll see on the bottom if you want to, like it has handicap, your total, and then scratch for, I guess, for that game. It's kind of an interesting program. I'm not sure which one it is. And Richard Croker does what Richard Croker does, and another guy that's just pretty much up and in, doesn't do anything too crazy with it. Next pair, we're going to have Kevin Mason, Ed Reese, Daryl Drissler, who won both matches in Osage Beach earlier this year. VJ McDaniel and Rafe Terry made the trip all the way from Lansing. And we got the cleanup on the left lane. Make sure you hit the chat page. I'd like to hear from you and just know where you're at. And I think Argentina pretty much has a handle on the match against France in the World Cup. Not that I watch soccer, but they're in the going into the 92nd minute with 8 minutes overtime. So France is going to have to kick it in gear. Or no, check that. It's 2-2. My fault. So you're going to have a shootout in the World Cup. And I think Argentina had a 2-0 lead, I believe. I'm not sure. I haven't been watching it that close. So I will leave you be. I'll check back in a little bit. Enjoy this pair on the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes and Osage Beach, with the video broadcast brought to you by McCarthy Auto Group. We'll be back in a little bit and probably at the final of the World Cup and see how that goes.
All right, guys, real quick, if you, when you go to 19 and 20, you're going to be hitting 23 and 24 instead. We had a breakdown, so 19 and 20 is now 23 and 24.
All right, back with you with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach, Missouri. I'm Ryan Ragland, and the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table. Getting ready to finish up game 2. And looks like the lane's starting to open up a little bit. Starting to see a little bit more angle. I'm down talking to a couple guys and getting an idea of what they're seeing. And France and Argentina's in extra time at 101 minutes right now, still tied at 2. I'm not sure exactly how the extra time works. I thought after their initial extra time they went into penalty kicks, but make sure you hit the like and subscribe, or on the Facebook, the like button. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the alert bell. That way you get a notification every time we have a broadcast. You'll get an alert on it. Mike Vandenberg, you're one of the few guys playing the deep inside, and he was throwing service early, and I think he balled up. And this is the angle that Vandenberg likes to throw. He likes that inside and hitting that spot down lane. And as you can see, the standings at the bottom as it scrolls across, which is pretty cool. I'll tell you what, Brian Jordan with a nice kick. There's some times I wish I could just get the ball to roll off my hand like that and just let it set. Lefty Doug Cote's on a string, looking for number 7. 248 possibility if he strikes out. Doesn't get the scout. One of the few times you get a scout in this house. That's not what you need in the 10th when you got a possibility of a big game. Trying to see some other scores that might be finished up real quick. Highest, Kevin Mason on the next pair coming up. Looks like he's going to be going 238. Or no, excuse me, 258 with a strike here as he walks up on lane 13. You'll be able to see his result. So Kevin Mason's going to stay strong after 2. Richard Croker is going to look for 258. Oh, wow. Oh, are you kidding me? Vanderbrugge with a 7-10, the late 7. Hey, it's on film. It's documented. Gets the late scout and the 10 going down. That's a big break on the first one, the 10th for Vanderbrugge. And Crooker can't get that one, but still finishes out nice. 257, I believe. That's a little bit better out of Mikey. So 258 for Richard Croker. And 258 for tournament leader after one, Kevin Mason. So he's gonna be up pretty well. And Mason, one of those guys that can just keep the ball going forward and just get that nice little set. So that's a good place for a 4-9. And then John Croker looking up to finish. So Braden Jordan 24, Vanderbrugge 36. Gode with 215, Richard Croker with 58, and John Croker looking for a 203 with the spare. So the next set coming up, and looks like we're going into penalty kicks in the World Cup with Argentina and France. We'll let everyone get settled, get switched over for the next game. We'll be back in a few minutes with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes and Osage Beach. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Where's everybody claiming? I got the whole team. Claiming. Put that down on ball farms, I ain't gonna need it. It's our turn. I think it is. I know it is.
All right, Ryan Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour brought to you by Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach. And game two, or standings after game two, are running down. And I did see that Kevin Mason retained the lead still. I can't say retained because he never lost it, or I guess, yeah, never mind. I'm using big words, and I shouldn't be doing that. Daryl Drissler just throwing at the 10 pin on the right. He won back-to-back tournaments on the two-day weekend at Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach. And Argentina just scored. In the 109th minute. And about ready to reset the scrolling on the bottom. Kevin did not like that one. He doesn't throw that many that far left. So take a look at the standings after two games. And I do know that Kevin Mason is in the lead at 125 over. David Moorhead at 105 over. Rafe Terry tied for second at 105. 494, 94 over for Don Braden. And Richard Croker at 93 over. Brian Manini working extra run to the back. And up in sixth place. And you can see the rest of the field as it scrolls on the bottom. Kind of curious on how they did have one lane breakdown on 20, so they're moving from 17 and 18, moving over to 23 and 24, which is a very good pair, but it's going to have one game less of lineage on it. So kind of curious on how guys will do on that pair. And then they have to switch back to 21 and 22. And then after that, they'll run down to 5 and 6 on the flip. Want to remind everyone, hit the, let's see real quick, Becky Caudell, Richard and John's last name. Oh, Crocker, I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction, like Betty Crocker. So thank you, Becky, for that. I'm sure they heard some stuff, got teased a little bit in school with that. But I'd rather say it correctly, so I appreciate Becky for correcting me on that. But make sure you hit the chat page, hit the subscription and the alert bell, and that way you get a notification every time we start a new broadcast. And also hit the like on the Facebook page. And Kevin Mason just doing what Kevin Mason, that's the line he likes. He just finds a little bit of friction, lets the ball roll up, and he's good with it. Nothing fancy. Coming up on the next pair, it's going to be Bart Roth, Julius Mickle, Sam Zemblin Jr., my buddy Samuel, And Dunk, Kevin Duncan, head coach with the Central Missouri State bowling team, as they are the next on the next pair coming up after these. I think Rafe might have got that one in just a pinch and didn't get the hit on it. You do have to get it to the friction spot just a little bit. You don't have to get a lot, just enough to get the ball to tip. Kevin Duncan on lane 14 with a nasty scout. So this is game 3 of 7. We'll let you guys enjoy this a little bit, and we'll check back in a little bit. Ryan Ragleback with you. But I want to know there's a with a couple guys with the front 9 on 21 and 22 off camera. Run by and waiting for Kevin Rothov, who made the finals yesterday, finish up his 10th frame. Yet you still have guys that are playing up front. Talking to Kevin Rothov, he said he's a little bit further right than he was yesterday. So, I guess it kind of depends on what part of the lane you're at. Turn the camera, but it's just
Congratulations, Donnie Braden, 300 game. Nice ball, Donnie.
That's the hazard. I grow up.
All right, finally. Sorry about that. Tried to got everything situated now. Tried to get the camera moved over as Don Braden on 21-22 just shot 300. So the first 300 of the weekend, as he threw that on 21-22. That's why I had the camera moved over. You kind of see the result, but I come back to move it and realized the audio somehow had switched. So had to correct that real quick. As now we have Sam Zeblin Jr., Bart Roth, Kevin Duncan, and Julius Mickle on this pair. And should have a reset after 3 games coming up in a second. I'm not sure how many people are going to be watching this along with the Chiefs game, but hey, you can do both. Congratulations to Argentina winning its first, I guess its first World Cup. Hey. And did that in a shootout. And we have game 3 totals running. And after 3 games, oh, that's after 2. It's scrolling different on different lanes. Don Braden at 794, Rafe Terry at 783, David Moorhead 750, Joey Finley at 738, bowling well. Brian Manini at 734, Kevin Mason at 731, so he dropped a little bit. Richard Crocker, Julius Mickle, David Kuchera, and Jesse Campbell. So, going to be in the top 10, got to be 100 over. As I'm looking, as that's scrolling on another pair. So the scrolling is different from lane to lane for whatever reason. On 17 and 18, it's just a little bit ahead. So scores are definitely up today from where they were yesterday. Bart Roth made a finals at Sterling Bowl, I believe, last year. I think Kevin Duncan, I think he made one there too, if I remember correctly. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the alert bell on YouTube. And hit us on the chat page. Let us know where you're watching from. We'd like to see how far out it's branching out. I know that Scott Grinder checked in yesterday from Florida before he was headed to the Kegel Bowling Center, or Training Center, which I have yet to do. That's a bucket list for me. Sam Zemblin definitely balled down from what he was throwing. Cash yesterday made the cut for a cash, but he's been struggling today. Kevin Duncan from Mexico, Missouri, over by Columbia. I think it's north of I-70. Just couldn't quite get the ball. There we go. Thank you, sir. As Dan just brought me over the score sheet. Five of the top 6. Well, 6 of the top 7 are more up and in players. You have Manini, Julius Mickle, then Dave Kuchera. Actually, 8 of the top 10 are up and in, outside of Mickles and Manini. Kind of interesting to see that, how some guys are talking about it hooking a little bit more, but yet pretty much dominated by up and in. Randy Schimmerbach checking in. Thank you, sir. You're missing the donuts I brought today. Just letting you know. I brought some good ones. Joey Finley on 14 with a nice flush shot. As he's sitting in fourth at 738. Well, I have been told I need to get me a pork tenderloin sandwich. And as soon as that was mentioned to me, my stomach's kind of been talking to me. So I'm going to let you enjoy this game, game 4 of 7 here at Revolutions Lanes in St. Joe, Missouri. And we'll be back in a little bit.
That's a double for us. That's impressive shit there, boy. We'll take that. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna throw that ball, man. Right. That ain't like driving a tractor.
All that quit. Just rub it off. Just rub it off.
Ryan Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach. And just got a message from Jan Thomas with a little bit of stat history. Say congratulations to Don Braden on his 106th. That's just inconceivable. I mean, 106th career, 300 game. 106. That's nuts. That defines a very good bowler. So thank you, Jan, for that little tidbit of information. Ooh, my goodness gracious. I got the pork tenderloins served to me. This thing's huge. Tremendously proportionate in size. So I had to drop in. Thanks to Jan for the little stat history there. Again, congratulations to Don Braden, 106th. So I'm going to indulge. I'll give you a review of my pork tenderloin sandwich here in a little bit. So enjoy Game 4 of 7 of the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach here at Revolution Lanes in St. Joe, Missouri. All Brian Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach here in St. Joe, as we're finishing up the 10th frame of game number 4, and Samuel with the ball change, and a good ball change. Looking to finish up with the 240. Rafe Terry, who we just saw the last game, in second at 783. Throwing on 18. Doesn't get the 10 to kick out. So wait and see for the screen to clear to. So he's looking for a 226 if he sheets out in the 10th. Don Braden is way down there, so I'm not sure what he's doing right now, but coming off his 106th career 300 last game. Not sure where David Moorhead is. Trying to see where he's at, if I can see him from where I'm sitting. So Kevin Duncan looking to finish 238 on this game. He's clean. A couple breaks here and there. He could have had a 240, 250 game. There, he gets that one to roll up. So Dunk finishes 238. And Bart Roth and Julius Mickle coming up now. Finishing up game 4 with Don Breeden, Rafe Terry, David Moorhead, Joey Findlay, who's coming up in the next pair, finishing up his 10th. And two-teen. He's going to be in the two-teen, so he may drop a little bit. Brian Manini, who's also coming up, shoots 238. Kevin Mason, who we just saw, he is on a 5-bagger. He can go 226 if he sheets. Richard Crocker. They're down on 23 and 24, so I can't see what he has. Julius Mickle. He's going to shoot. He's going to shoot for 60, 68. So that'll help his cause. David Kuchera is on 7 and 8. Can't see what he has. And Jesse Campbell, I think, is either below Kuchera or right next to him. Oh, there he is. He goes 191, so he struggles on that one. So he's going to drop just a little bit. We'll let these guys get finished, let the next set of scores come up, and we'll come up with an update after 4 coming up in a few minutes. right, back with game 5 here in St. Joe. Brandon Leibel, Joey Finley, Brian Manini, Mark Porter, and Mark Zamora. And the top 5 or the, excuse me, updated standings are up after 4 games. I don't have the sheet, but they're scrolling at the bottom. I did see that Don Braden still in the lead, as he was at 794 after 3. And get ready for the update. Don Breen at 1052. Rafe Terry opened up in the 10th at 985, but he's still in second. 984 for Julius Mickle. Brian Manini 792 or 972. 957 for Kevin Mason. Steve Points. Joey Finley dropped down to 7th with a 954. Kent Sherfy, Mike Vanderbrugge, and Mark Porter. And Kevin Duncan. So pretty much a big chunk of the top 10 right here in front of us. Dan McCook, Jesse Campbell, Steve Slocum, TK Terrell, and Kenny Allen coming up after on the next game. Steven Slocum made the finals, I think it was in Topeka at Gage Center. And the, excuse me, the pork tenderloin here at Revolution Lanes is money. It's big. You need to cut access off so you can have the burger size, and then you can make another sandwich out of the rest of it. So 2 for 1. Brandon Leibel hooking the ball a little bit more than I'm used to seeing. Brandon Leibel's 131 over. So he's trying to play a little bit of catch up. He's just a pinch outside the top 10. And we're going to take a small break after this is completed after the game 7, and we'll reset the stream for the finals for the stepladder. Usually about 2-ish or so. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the alert bell. Oh, thank you, ma'am. As I get the game 4 updated stats paper. David Moorhead struggled just a little bit as he was setting third at 750, and he dropped all the way down to 907. So that game kind of kicked him a little bit. Kansas City just scores. Finally, in the second quarter against the Texans. Brandon's looking back going, that one didn't turn up. And now that condition there is what I was seeing, a lot of guys were seeing yesterday, where if you were going to hook the ball, you had to make sure you got it to some friction to get it to kick up. And then you see that one by Mark Porter, where the 6 just barely made it up to kick the 10 out. So if you're going to swing it, I think your margin of error is a lot less. Oh, bad break by Brandon. And right now, the way the scores are, yeah, open frames are killers. You gotta go 230 just to make the top 10. You really can't afford them too much. Mark Zamora gets that slow roller from the outside with a front 4 now. And Joey Finley walking up looking for his 4th in a row. That one reads up on him a little bit. Kind of different Brandon. Brandon goes up light and Finley walks right up and goes high. I think we need to get the sponsor on here. Talk a little bit. You can't just stand here and watch the hubby. If you're going to be a sponsor, you have to talk.
Okay.
Plus, you're also the banner placement coordinator. It's on. You're the banner placement coordinator, so.
I am every week.
Hey, someone has to know where to put it.
No, I will speak for Ryan because I know he will not speak for himself. He does a wonderful job for Facebook viewers each week, and I just want to thank him for taking the time. It takes a lot of preparation and setup before he's actually even in some of these tournaments and bowls himself, and that's kind of juggling two things
I
at
attempt
one
to
time.
bowl. I attempt to bowl.
You bowl well. You do bowl well.
Yesterday, no.
But thank you for all that you do.
Well,
Whenever
thank
you
you.
do these for the bowlers, it's a lot of time and commitment and preparation. So
No, thanks, appreciate it. The hubby dropped down a little bit, but he's got the front 3 and he's got the spare, so he's working back a little bit.
yep.
So
Yep. I see the Blaine's playing different today than they were playing yesterday.
scores are up, and I made the comment. I've been talking to a bunch of guys, and it's lanes are hooking more.
Yep.
Your carry is better if you're going to cover boards, but then when you look at the standing sheet outside of Mickles, Manini, points being a lefty, Vonderbrugge, you got six of the top 10 that pretty much play up and in. So
Yep.
not bad. That's a good split.
I see a lot of bowlers playing a little bit straighter today. I can also see that they're changing their ball speed. If their ball speed changes, it can be a solid 10. If they drop their ball speed a little bit,
Very,
so it's kind of
very
interesting.
speed dominant.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very touch and go.
which I don't mind. I mean, it makes for a good. If you're on, you're on. You're going to be well, but yeah, it's one of those things where if you're off a pinch,
It can really matter.
that's a big pinch.
Absolutely.
And Rafe Terry on 23 and 24, who's in second, just left a big 4. I think that's the 4th frame they're in over there. Manini just goes straight back. And if you're gonna cover some board, you've got about a square foot spot down lane that you need to hit. If you hit that right, you're good. If not, it's going to be a bad deal.
Brian Manini's shooting with a exotic gem, just drilled it out last week. Shot 300 with it. The first week he had it drilled out, so it must be a
Threw
hot
pretty
ball
well
for him.
Friday when I was here.
Yep. He's bowling really well with it, but it's neat to see whenever someone picks up a new ball and has a different drill pattern and they can make it work.
Better than I do. I have my standards. I stay with my standards, and I'm pretty well with it. But obviously had to get you on here, being one of the sponsors with Shoulder
Yeah.
Insurance, and here's a question for you: how much effect with, like, you know, they had the 2 hurricanes that went through Florida, they had the storms that just went through Mississippi and Alabama and stuff like that, and all that other stuff. How much impact does that have on, like, rates nationwide when something like that hits?
It's actually an impact, catastrophic type of events like that can impact a state dramatically. However, they do have sort of catastrophe fund set aside for something like that to happen, but it can drive some state rates. And I will tell you that the most important thing is that we all get busy. We're really busy in our lives, and we don't necessarily take time to stop and think, well, I need to probably go back and look at some of my coverages. So that's what I try to encourage a lot of people to do, is go and look at your coverages. Because
Just look at it.
Yeah, just look at it, glance over it, go to your agent and say, does it look all right? Is it where it should be? Because I haven't looked at it in 10 years. Because when something happens, you wish you would have stopped and took that maybe hour just to go look at it with your agent. So I encourage people to do that, because when it's too late, it's too late.
And okay, here's a question that has plagued mankind for years and pisses me off. Great driving record, no problems, no claims, and the rate goes up. Why?
Why is that?
Why is it? I'm following
That's
the
$1 million
rules. I'm
question
being a
everybody
good
asks.
boy. I'm not breaking the law. I don't have a claim for I don't know how many years, and it's like, we're going to charge. Oh, why? I didn't do anything. It's not my fault.
Yeah, and that's $1 million question that everybody asks. It's a great question, and it makes everybody turn their heads and frown. And I will tell you this: the one thing that made me understand that when I began insurance and back 15 years ago, I asked the same exact question because I didn't know before I started insurance. And I will tell you, it all boils down to the fact that medical expenses go up because the medical field or hospitals or doctors are charging more. So when people get in accidents, that drives that rate. Also, it may not be you, but the amount of people that actually have an accident, the amount of days that your vehicle is in the shop being repaired for labor.
So can we go back and say the COVID pandemic?
Absolutely.
We're still feeling the remnants of that?
Absolutely, because a lot of insurance companies gave out a refund, a relief payment, because nobody was driving because they weren't going to the office. They were staying at
I never
home.
got one. Where's mine?
Well,
I'll make an extra truck payment on that bad boy. I never got no refund on it.
But then everybody said, well, my rate went up this year. Well, there's more cars back on the road. People are going places more. They're having more accidents. So guess what? And then what happened with the workforce a little bit? It changed. The workforce changed. Not to get into
So
that.
you're saying the insurance company did not have the supplemental income that they were supposed to have, so now they're charging more to try to build up their income.
And you know, they can,
Okay.
they can, but in the same sense, what happened was the Suez Canal shut down.
The who?
The Suez Canal.
Don't know him.
shut down.
Never heard of him.
It's
Sure is a good guy. I have no
It
knowledge.
shut down, and when that happened, they quit making the chips for all of the electronic chips for all of our
okay.
cars. Well, that impacted. That's why all those dealerships went with no cars.
And so is that why
That
the
drove.
coverages for the used vehicles are going up because of the chip shortage? So it's going to cost more to replace the chips if they need them.
Absolutely, they were being made overseas.
The bastards. All
But
right.
good question. But there's a lot of different things, a lot of variables that people don't.
It's not just centered on. This is
Just
why
you.
there's
Just you.
there's
No.
just a little bit.
We're all into a state.
So
we're
I
all
can
into the
continue
state-
being a good boy, and it ain't gonna matter.
Well,
I might as
will
well just
tell
go
you,
out and just raise a ruckus and just have fun and say the hell with
Actually-
being a good boy.
Well,
I mean, come
guess
on.
what? If you're above at 48 at shelter, we give you a discount. So if you're above 48, we give you a discount for that. And we give you a discount at 3 years and 6 years for being a good boy, no tickets and accidents.
Yeah, it's too late. It's too late. Oh Lord.
But yeah. So, anyways, I just want to.
Short answer long. It's a little bit of everything.
It is. It's
Okay.
it's a little bit of everything.
All right. Well, I can't. I mean, I can't tell you no. It's just it's and I guess in the sense that when it. What do I say? When it's a conglomeration of a lot of little things, you really can't pinpoint it. No one can say, well, it's because of this or because of that.
Yeah, and we don't want to necessarily blame ourselves. It's a group thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But I want to just mention a couple of our sponsors. Berkey Turkey's Pro Shop, Face Designs, local graphic design, family-owned business.
and it's not Jason Chris, it's Face.
Oh,
Where does that come from? Why
that was his nickname. Face.
he has one? I know he does. I know he has a face, but I have one. But
Yeah.
I don't call
but
myself
I don't
Face.
know where the actual face made. That was his nickname he was given. But yeah. And then Revolutions Lanes does an amazing job putting on this tournament.
Brian's been a busy bee
Yeah,
this
he
weekend.
has. He pulled an all-nighter Friday night.
Good Lord. This guy, some people don't know, had one breakdown, a fluke of a breakdown on lane 6. And so in order to get the part, he had to drive after
Midnight,
doing whatever, after midnight, he had to drive to Brookfield, Missouri, which is,
2 hours.
2 hours, get the part, drive 2 hours back,
Got back
to-
about 4.
got back about 4, worked on it. His wife forced him to go in the back office and just nap for a little bit.
He didn't even take a nap.
Didn't even take a nap. Was up all day, all night.
His
said
wife oils the lanes while he's still replacing the part.
he's still replacing the part. And then he told me last night he finally left about 7, got home, did the man-style dinner, and just microwaved a couple hot dogs. And he said, I sat down in the chair, turned on the football game. I don't think I got past the second play, and he was gone.
Yep.
I'm like, I
absolutely.
don't know if I would have made it to the chair. I think I would have been comatose and just, walking in a daze to the chair, and just would have been on autopilot.
Absolutely. So he worked all day on Friday, bowled Friday night, stayed up all Friday night, worked all day on Saturday yesterday for this tournament, and didn't crash until the second day at 7 o'clock. That's a long
That-
2 days.
That's just long. And then had another fluke incident with lane 20, and he's running to the back and everything while he's bowling, and he's flying all over the place. And his brain already goes about a mile a minute anyway, so it doesn't faze him because it's just how Brian is, and he's still bowling well. It's crazy.
And his mind just kicks in and takes over. It's adrenaline.
I don't even
it's
think
adrenaline.
I don't even think his mind kicks in. It's just on, like I said, it's on autopilot. It just gets done without even thinking about it.
Yep, absolutely. It's adrenaline. It's adrenaline keeps him moving. I will say, the one thing about the center is that they have the rolling standings
Yeah,
constantly going. That's
I saw
amazing.
that. I saw that
Yeah.
yesterday, and I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Scoring systems, very, very updated, and it actually has their names. You don't have just the letters.
I told Dan, I said, I really do not appreciate everyone seeing just how bad I'm doing.
With your
I
name
said
up there.
they have to physically look at it to find out. Here they can just be lazy. And go, oh, he's doing normal. Thank you. Smash.
Isn't it interesting, from center to center, how bowlers, when it gets to a certain house, they're on fire and they're in the top 10, and then the next tournament, they may be halfway down the field.
Unless
and
you're Don Braden and you're just
yeah.
crushing it anyway.
comes out to 300.
Number 106.
Awesome.
Got a Jan Thomas checked in to notify us, let us know that was number 106. And
That is amazing.
I'm like, 106? What the hell? I wonder how many, because Bob Learn Jr. threw a 300 in Erie when he set the record for the 4-game total. And even before then, he was named Mr. 300. And I know some guys that are in the 60s and other guys are 50, and I'm like 14, 13. I'm like,
I learned.
And granted, it helps when you're bowling 3 or 4 times a week, leagues
Absolutely.
and stuff like that.
It's all about staying conditioned, right?
I bowl once a week. I don't get much practice, just with my work schedule, and
Life gets in the way.
And if you can do it, hey, props to you. But some people say, well, how many of those or house shot, something like that for for Don. I'm like, I don't care. Give him a tough shot and he'll still kill it. Mm-hmm. He has a nice simple game, and he can manipulate and control the lane. So.
But the funny part behind that is, before he started bowling today, this morning he had a double cheeseburger, and I said, I think it's a double cheeseburger.
Yeah, well, I couldn't. I told him I had the donut, and he goes, I can't do donuts. I'm like, okay. And then he does the what was it? He does the what do they call it when they take the bun away?
Oh, just unwich, right? It's like
no, but there's the thing you're taking away all the bread and everything.
carbs, right?
Yeah, but I can't remember some. Anyway, if you can get it done, this is a little secret to me. Go to your favorite burger place, and if they have an ability to take your burger and put it in a tortilla wrap and grill the wrap just a little bit, it is freaking amazing. You don't
That's
get
a healthy way.
You don't. Yeah, but you get all that taste of the meat and everything. You don't get so much that overload of the bun.
Bread, yep.
Yeah.
And when these bowlers are getting ready to bowl, they can't necessarily have too many carbs because they're going 7 games right now.
It doesn't bother me none. I really don't eat before I bowl anyway, so.
But as far as this weekend, Jesse Campbell, the champion yesterday, that was his 80. He's had 83 300s. That was his 83rd.
He shot 300?
Not yesterday, but he's down 83 300s.
Oh, 83.
We were talking about Don Braden.
Yeah.
Being above 100.
He bought a Pizza Royal last night too.
That was nice.
Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff.
Took his winnings and took out some friends.
Yeah, he said if he won, he was going to take us out. And I'm like, cool, I'll grab the tip. And he wouldn't let me grab the tip.
Oh my gosh!
So I brought a donut. He didn't
What
take
a champion!
He didn't take a donut.
What a
Tried to bring
champion!
the donut. He didn't take
What a
it.
champion!
Yeah, pretty good guy. We'll see him coming up next game along with Steven Slocum, TK Terrell, Kenny Allen, and Dan McCook with Berkey's Turkeys. Was it Berkey Turkeys?
Berkey Turkeys.
See, I would rather say Berkey's Turkeys as apostrophe S, but that's me. Kansas City needs to wake up and do something. Good Lord. I mean, down 14-7.
Yeah. They started out kind of slow. They got it. They got to get in it.
They haven't looked the best the last few weeks. They've got playoffs coming up, and they almost got a gift from Miami last night. So Brian Manini goes up to 256. So that's going to actually, and it updates too. So I put him at 1228. Brandon Leibel with a buck 84. It's easily dropped down to 1075, so he's going to lose 16 on that. But Lisa Finley with Shelter Insurance, and like I said, had to get you on there, and
Absolutely. Thanks for having me today,
I had to
Ryan.
ask that never answered question about why. That's just that why question I had to ask.
Absolutely. I'm open for any questions. And I'm located in St. Joe, Missouri, and I'm licensed in 10 states. So if you move, you can still keep me as your agent. So
How does
call
that
my
work?
office.
How does
I'm
that
on
work?
Facebook.
What's the furthest state you're licensed in?
Nevada and Colorado.
Good Lord.
All the way down through the Midwest.
Do you fly out there?
Huh?
Do you fly out there?
I actually don't have to fly out there. I can lean on other agents if I got to take pictures or
Listen to you.
yeah, social media is
I'd rather
great.
fly, get the
You
hell
know?
out of town for a little bit.
Yeah. I do.
All right.
I do go to Las Vegas and this year for women's nationals and
Yeah, but
Reno.
but you can just make that a business tour.
Right.
Business
Yeah.
expense.
But thank you for having me today, Ryan.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Lisa. Lisa Finley with Shelter Insurance joining us, and getting ready to finish up Game 5. We'll take a timeout and be back with Game 6 out of the 7 here at St. Joe at Revolutions Lanes on the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes in Osage Beach. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
these cameras look right now, be my only chance of getting a shot.
Right, right.
Sometimes you just have bad days.
Yeah, they just That's kind of what I was wanting to do. Obviously, it didn't work out. Wow. I kicked 2 10s out. I've been going there too many.
Ryan Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes in Osage Beach, Missouri, as we are in Game 6 of 7 here in St. Joe at Revolutions Lanes. And waiting for the scroll to come in. I don't have the sheet with me, but we'll wait for the scrolling standings. Probably seen those before me, as I was away from the table for a second. And getting set for the Game 5 totals. Don Braden just keeps on, averaging 262. Brian Manini in second. Rafe Terry holding up at third. And Ryan Moats crossed with him yesterday, doing really well. Kevin Mason still holding top 5. Julius Mickle. Joey Finley holding up in the top 10. Steve Points, the lefty. Mark Porter. And rounding out your top 10, Kent Surefire. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologize for that. So a lot of the same guys I made the comment to Lisa. I said I think Don Braden's going to run away with this. He's averaging 20 pins a game more than anybody else, and this type condition is just money for him. I would not be surprised if he doesn't. If he shoots another 300, I wouldn't be too surprised. The way these lanes are playing are just perfect for him. TK Terrell on the right lane. The champion at Emporia at Flint Hill Lanes last month. I call him Mr. Slow Roller. I think my camera got bumped just a pinch. That moved over. And Jesse Campbell not having the day that he had yesterday. So for game 7 coming up, we're going to have Kent, I think it's Surefire, S-H-E-R-F-E-Y. I'll have to ask him. Gary Williams Sr., Corey Blackwell, Steve Points, and Clay Owens will come up for game 7. And then after that, we'll separate the broadcast for a second and reset so we can have a separate stream for the finals. Oh, Jesse. And then we'll have the step ladder for the top 5 here at St. Joe. It's been a pretty good weekend. I think Dan McCook's throwing the hustle. Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan. 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 Is that the hustle? Thank you. Is that a hustle? The PBR? You polished it up a little bit? Polished it up a little bit? You polished the PBR up a little bit? You did? Yeah, but he's throwing the PBR that he polished up a little bit, and he said he really likes it. And I'm like, yeah, it looks like it. So games for Don Braden, pretty standard for him, 257, 37, 300, 58, 58. That'll get it done. That was for 4 games. So after 5, or no, check that. Yeah, the game 5, so this is game 6. So right now he has about a 90-pin lead over Brian Manini. Manini's been pretty standard too, 28, 58, 48, 38, and 56. So if you can, drop us a line on the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. And make sure you hit the subscription tab and hit the alert bell so that way you get a notification every time we start a new broadcast. Kansas City has the ball inside the 10. Kind of cool. Brian McNaney has a projector and basically has a big screen on the wall on the high end. So nice little touch. So he's going to run a border on it and kind of making a nice little screen on the wall. So as we're in the 5th frame of game number 6, I'm going to let you enjoy the action. I'm going to just keep quiet, and we'll be back in a little bit here at Revolutions Lanes in St. Joe with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes in Osage Beach.
I wouldn't have gone there if I didn't bowl. I'd rather have stayed at the
Piece of tape. Needed a damn tape last game or something. Probably. I think I needed down about 2 or 3 Mike's Hard Lemonade right now. It would be quite entertaining, let me tell you. Looks like a catch, but was he in? Looks like a catch, but was he in? His elbow went down. I think he's a touchdown. Yeah. His elbow, and he missed it. Oh, he missed it. Oh, he's having a terrible year. He's having a terrible year. Ever since he got injured this year, he sucked.
Yeah, I need to clean that up. It's got a bunch of shit all over it.
Yeah, we can get it. One of these, you want some?
I got stuck in Gladstone a couple of weeks ago back there.
Yep.
A bunch of rubber got on it.
Yeah, black shit all over.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's all over.
Yeah, I'll do that for you. Shots all day chicken wing.
Did you hate it when you do that?
Just put the damn elbow out. No chicken wing on that shot. Save the chicken wing for dinner. Yes.
Basically twos, maybe twos. Just, I think I figured it out. You gotta slow it down. Just not carrying the corners. You can hit the pocket, but look at the other guys. They're like so slow. They just, oh yeah, his bases still straight balls, straight off there.
You gotta stay more direct. Your line's more straight.
It's a wonderful tool to have.
Ryan Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes in Osage Beach, Missouri, and Don Braden, yeah, front seven. A boring display of repetitive motion. That's exactly what he's doing. and doing it very, very well. So we'll try to see if we can get the camera over, turn around in the 10th frame if he goes that far. Had a question that pulled up, Paul Hurring. Hurring? I think Hurring might be a little bit closer. How does the oil pattern hold after all this bowling? Well, it goes to center, depends. You know, you've got oil placement, you have volume, you have traffic, meaning who's doing what, where, revs, and stuff like that. But here, the inside stays really, really well. There's enough volume where you can keep migrating left. To me, the more left you get, the more speed sensitive the lane wants to be, the more up, kind of like with Don, as he is up with shot number 8, I believe. Flushes that one. That's number, I think that's number 8. Let me, yep, that was number 8. So he'll have one more to go for 9th, and if he does that, we'll get the camera turned around and hopefully be able to watch him throw another one. But these hold up pretty well. I like where Don Breen's throwing outside or outside 10 pretty much. Depends on the hand you have, equipment you're throwing. It's very conducive for this. This is a perfect example of how conducive house patterns, i.e. this one, can hold up with your placement of oil and everything. So that's the easiest way I can explain it. You get to a certain point where you get inside the fronts, and I think a lot of it has to do with the type of oil that you use. Some houses use oil that might move easier, or I can't say evaporate, just moves easier than others. There's times where I know in some houses, like by now, some guys would be at 20. They'd be at middle arrow and pitching it right. It just depends on how comfortable they are. So we are in game 6 of 7. Yesterday's champion, Jesse Campbell, looking to pull something out of this. Ryan Moats, the lefty down there, is doing pretty well also. He's crossing with Don Braden. And that's one of the pairs that we didn't get to watch, with everyone crossing, just moving a pair after each game. And he's looking to get that 169. He's struggled today, and that's a perfect example of how they transitioned yesterday compared to how they're transitioning today. I think you have a little bit more traffic, equipment wise. So Don Breen's up and for the 9th frame. I'm not going to jinx it by turning the camera, but we'll wait after this one. He's up on the approach. See what he does here after the front 8. And there's his delivery. Oh my goodness, stone 8. Oh, that was just mean. Randy Peterson's having shivers right now. So Don Braden with the front 8 goes stone 8 and just adds, looking to add to his 260 average right now. So we're going to take a break. Wanted to give an update on that with Don Braden. And we'll get some other scores, and we'll be back with the 7th and final game of qualifying here at Revolutions Lanes in St. Joe, Missouri, with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bowmore Lanes and Osage Beach, Missouri.
One last game. The biggie.
Last roundup for this rodeo. Same thing. Got it. Help you. Last two games, he's about 5 games more. I'm right at that. swear I can't get no breaks today. Every single time. That's great.
Yeah. Everybody backing up and makes it look good.
Right now it's drier now. I'm using my dry lane ball right now. You know? I think 8 or 9, maybe. I'm not sure about 10. It's possibility. Everything is that. It's different. Depends on what. Probably more. About the same amount. About the same amount of dollars. I thought it was less. It was less. Right. Like I said, it was less yesterday. And I think it was like 30, 38, I think. 38 and it's 40.
47 and 59.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Brian Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes in Osage Beach, Missouri, as we are in Game 7. And after 6 games, Don Braden goes 260. He goes stone 8, and he went 19 in the 10th with a 4-pin. I think it was a wrap 10 and a 4-pin on the fill. But he is at 1577. Brian Manini, last game, shoots 268. Braden shoots 267. So congratulations to Brian Manini. He gained 1 pin on Don Braden. Kevin Mason back up into third with a 247, as he is in third. Rafe Terry still in there at 224. He goes 289 game 4, 278 game 3, then 202, 27, and 24. Julius Mickles rounds up the top 5 at 1430. Ryan Moats, 15 pins behind the cut at 1415. And then 1398 is Steve Points, the lefty, as we are in Game 7. And then after this game, we're going to stop the broadcast, set up a separate stream for the match play finals. And we'll have the step ladder right after that. So I would think, give us about 10 minutes after we end this stream, as we'll get started with the next one after we get the banners and stuff set up. I want to say a huge thanks to the sponsors also. Berkey Turkish Pro Shop here at Revolutions Lanes with Dan McCook and Ryan Burks. And Lisa Finley with Shelter Insurance, who we talked to earlier. And Finley Transportation and Trucking, along with McCarthy Auto Group, title sponsor for the broadcast. And also Storm, Rotogrip, and 900 Global, as they donate a ball for the raffle. And all the proceeds of that goes right back into the prize fund, so that's a huge help. Kansas City with a 16-14 lead and the ball, and just got a first down. I already made the comment, they just need to, on the point after touchdown for Butker, just get a false start, back it up a little bit, and then he's going to be money. It's the only way I can think of. He's got to be the one guy that struggles with extra points from 33 yards out more than anyone I know. So Steve Points, the lefty, sitting in 7th right now. As he's at 1398, Julius Mickle at 1430. So 32 pins down is Steve Points. And I'm looking over to see where Mickles is. He has, I think, spare strike. Also looking at the top 10, Joey Finley has at 1383, Kevin Duncan at 9th at 1378, and Kent Sherfy at 1370. So kind of a cool printout we get while we're here. So yeah, it's kind of neat. We get the scores from every bowler after each game. That printout is just super cool. Unless this is, Yeah, I don't think this is Dan's. I think this is Revolution Lanes. So. Kent trying to hold on and get at least get a little bit of a check out here. Jesse Campbell just backdoors a 9-pin on 18. Gets a little smile out of him. A good guy. Nice 9-pin for Clay Owens. That can be brutal. Nice backdoor on the nice backdoor on the 9-pin. All right,
I bet he ate 5 or 6 pieces.
I didn't know you had that many fingers to backdoor a 9-pin.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, right.
A skill I've developed.
Gotta get a little word in there on Jesse Campbell. He's a good guy. And Points gets the nice little mixer. Trying to get a little bit going. If you're watching the Chiefs game, let me know what you think about that penalty on McKinnon. That is like the worst. It's like one of the worst flags I've seen. If you're watching the Chiefs game also, that was pretty terrible. Blake Howard, I enjoy bowling with some of these guys in Osage Beach last weekend. I hope to make some of these events when I turn 50. That would be a good deal. Yeah, it's a fun tournament. Mostly a lot of the same guys, and there are zero problems. Just a nice group of guys getting together, especially on something like this where it's a 2-day deal, and makes for a nice weekend. So yeah, hey, hope to see when you hit that 50 mark and come out here and bowl some of them. So we're going to take a break and finish up Game 7. And we'll be back in a little bit to finish Game 7 up. And then we will, like I said, break the stream, start a new stream for the finals, and then we'll have the step ladder here at St. Joseph, Missouri at Revolution's Lanes with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes in Osage Beach, Missouri.
That was coming. That was coming.
Ryan Ragland back with you at the McCarthy Auto Group broadcast table with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes and Osage Beach, as we are finishing up Game 7 of 7 games qualifying. Don Braden doing what Don Braden does. Let's see, he has, I think he can sheet out for 258. Brian Manini, I think his last game was 247. So yeah, 247, you can still lose pins. Don Braden is just on it. So we're going to separate the broadcast here in a second and start a new stream for the finals. As they're finishing up, and scores are distinctively higher than they had been. And as they're getting ready to finish, I'm kind of looking around. Braden, screen clear. He goes strike in the first, so yeah, he can go. Yeah, but I think he can go 250, 259, 258. Trying to see the screen. So Braden just flat out doing pretty well, doing what Braden does. Outside of his 237 game 2, he goes 57, 300, 58, 58, 67. Another flush. So Don Braden looks like he's going to be in the 250s. Steve Points finishes up 36. What'd you finish, Julius? What'd you finish with?
267.
That'll hold you in the top 5.
There's a couple of these guys they're running up from behind you.
Scores are definitely up, that's for sure. So waiting to see what Don does his last shot. And he punches out 259. So Don Braden's going to be the tournament leader with a massive gap. So that's going to do it for us for a little bit. Let's reset the stream. We'll be back with the finals. Give us 10 minutes or so. We'll start the new stream with the finals here at Revolutions Lanes in St. Joe with the Northwest Missouri Senior Bowlers Tour, brought to you by Bullmore Lanes and Osage Beach, Missouri, and the broadcast brought to you by McCarthy Auto Group. So stay tuned. Give us about 10 minutes. We'll be back with